and then Mr. Kato, you take the mic. Come in, Godfrey. Thanks, Kato, for that.
Oh, thanks very much. Sorry I was late today. I was kind of on another life. But I'll jump from the points I wanted to make. What we tend to forget, NUP is a young party with young leaders, yeah? And most of from its formation, they've been fighting a state, yeah? We forget that, as someone said, most policies are not on social media, because whereas they are doing so many things in a short period of time, they are planning and they are strategizing. And they don't need to tell us when they are, what the actual strategies are they are using. We just have to wait for the results. But they are doing extremely well, I think. Yeah, they can improve, which I think they listen to opinions. But what we need here is more civic education. And Dr. James has mentioned something crucial, which actually I just thought about it now, and it's true that most people in the rural areas, yeah, because they are not educated, not in terms of the normal education, yeah, but they are insulated because, first of all, they are kept poor intentionally. When you keep someone poor, you can do all sorts of things or ask them to do things and they will do it. Yeah? For example, they don't think they've got power. Yeah? Power is with the state. Yeah? So when the state brings 2 bags of fertilizers for you to put on 5 coffee plants, yeah? I think the government is doing wonders. Yeah? When they bring in PDM, from even before when we used to be on Facebook or Twitter and argue with the NRM people, I would tell them, listen, no person has ever developed on aid. From Yoga time, Bonava Gagaware, when these schemes are brought in so they can steal money and hoodwink people. Yeah? Because I fail to see, even when you give me $1 million, what I will do with it. Yeah? If I'm in a rural area, even in wherever you are, yeah? It doesn't make sense. Yeah? But they're saying, oh, we are doing this, we've brought in so many developmental programs. No, people develop put the infrastructure there, look after the education, health, and transportation as roads, yeah? Then people can develop, because most human beings develop by themselves. Yeah? But when there's no health services, so most of the so-called PDM money, yeah, is the actual treatment for malaria. Yeah? And then you think you are developing people. I'll never understand that, and I still argue on that point. Now, secondly, people keep saying the state has monopoly on violence, which is not true. Yeah? Because majority of people, they can do violence as well, but we teach that we keep away from it, not that we can't. It's because we don't want to give them excuses so they can stage coups. Yeah? What happened at the by-elections is they brought my belief, well, my thinking, it might be dodgy a bit, is they brought in these members, they brought all of those things to provoke so people can start to lose temper, agitate, and start throwing stones. Yeah? But due to the teachings before on the protest vote, I know that people run away from that violence. So the state had to do what it does when it's embarrassed, is to disturb the peace, sabotage the voting, but by then it was too late for all the action they were planning. Yeah. Now, if we had in the old days, we would have been answering back violence with violence. But most people kept away from it, went to do what they had to do. So only at the last point where the state was really, their plan fell apart, is that they unleashed the violence. But by and large, I'm happy with my leaders, what they do and what they go through, because it's abnormal. We haven't seen this violence even in the last election. Yes, we had serious violence, but just a by-election, and it looked like we are in Gaza, which was, but we got our victory, and many congratulations to Council areas and all Nupians and people of change. That's my ranting for today. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Iga, for that submission. Yes, let's take, I guess, Mr. Docus is Kato, Kato and then Joe. Kato, please go ahead.
Thank you so much for this time. I want to first salute our comrade Hightower Azimichichia, if you're still listening. And it's so lovely to see you strong and spirited. And that is all we need. We need to rise up, even if we fall down. And Mimi actually spoke my mind. And I think the wise James Mugenyi, don't be big-headed, but you're very wise. You said something about education, and education is something that Museveni technically did it smartly. And I just want to say something. Somebody one day told me that we are very excitable. We are very excitable. And I've become to believe that because we just get so excited about events and we're not far for thinking about what strategy we should be having. And Mimi said something about overusing, passing in. I have lots of ideas here that I don't want to share because I'm beginning to think about what they call, they say, battles are won in silence. So if you don't want your enemy to know what your mind is thinking, don't say it. And don't begin just going on social media and saying this. Let them be guessing. That is all. I've been saying this some time back. I said it on Space some time back, and I just want to reiterate it again, that stop guessing, do plan. And secondly, much as we are so excited, and I know Nico was ranting about blaming everybody. Do you know what? I've stopped blaming people from my comfort zone. If you want, get on the flight and go home and see what you can do. We can never sit here. We are living in an organized society. People there are just living their lives where they find it's just a day-to-day survival. We see things here we want to implant it there. No, it doesn't work. You get on the plane and go and see it for yourself. And this is one thing I want to mention. If I was going to tell Nicole, get on the flight and go to Uganda and go and do the training for the people. If these people are not trained, nothing is going to happen. We need to have coordinators all over the country to come. And I'm glad Dr. Daniel is listening here. And these are some of the things we need to begin thinking about. Training, if we're going to train, let us do it. Let us. I've kept on saying again and again. Sometimes when you don't see me here, I just feel I'm coming to waste my time talking. We're talking about the same thing. We're saying to Ugandans, you Ugandans, those guys are brave what you see them doing. the warfare there is completely different. I take my hats off to them. So as we comfortably talk about these things here, we should know that there's something different that is on the ground. And I kid you not, how many people are listening to what we're saying now? Apart from the agents who can afford, because they're paid, they spend lots of money to get data than ordinary people on the streets. You just go. You'll find them just doing their own business. Information. We are dealing with a different state of affairs here. So I will try to reach out to Dr. Nico and try to tell him about that as well. So what I'm trying to say is the training can be possible. And as Mimi said, we need to get the timing right. So let's get, and not everybody should be given what is going on, because we don't know whom we're talking. We should know people who are trusted, the coordinators, everybody, and then that training should be done and well-disciplined people. And discipline is something that Mimi also said. I think we need it. If we don't, even here in this organized country, when we go for demonstration, we're not disciplined. Everybody has an opinion about what to do, and then you end up getting frustrated. And that is something we should really, really begin considering. So me, I've stopped blaming people. I say, if they, whatever they're doing, they're trying their best. But I know the enemy has done something that is so superb that he creates chaos, so that basically they are the master of violence. Whatever they do it to make you think. Basically, they do reverse psychology, so that they want to provoke you into doing things. They take you away from your organized, focused thing to sway into their territory. And that is all I wanted to say. Otherwise, for God and my country, you people, and I keep on praying. I know for us, Dr. James, we are praying, and we are praying with our sword in our hands. So thank you.
Thank you, Kato, for that submission. I'll comment on it later. Joe, can you come on, please? Joe Wallace. Joe, good to see you.
Thank you, comrade. Thank you, comrade Joseph. No, I went to the video on. Yeah, and thank you, Sister Dorcas, for holding this Zoom space. Yes, I think start by addressing the Kawempe by-election that was won by it was won by NUP against so many odds. Ladies and gentlemen, what the by-election does, it exposes the regime. I think I can say this is these are kicks of a dying horse. This by-election was a revolutionary vote, also dubbed a protest vote. And I think it really displayed the resilience, the defiance, and the resistance from the opposition, in particular, the National Unity Platform. Of course, the regime was exposed in terms of the massive deployment, military deployment that it did. We saw the violence that was unleashed on the opposition, in particular on the NUP members and supporters. We saw the voter suppression, all manners of voter suppression at different levels. We saw the abductions. We saw the vote rigging. We saw the vandalism also. After realizing that they were not winning, after realizing that the odds were stacked up against them, they started vandalizing, some of the polling stations. In total, actually, 15 polling stations were not included or were not counted because these people ran amok and just vandalized, using their guns, by the way, using their guns. They vandalized these polling stations. So all those votes were nullified. And I think what we were afraid was really to show the scale of the support that NUP had. And I think this would have been a precursor to the 2026. And I think they didn't want to see that. Surprisingly and interestingly, today they are turning around saying they want to sue NUP. They're questioning the legitimacy of the elections. And this is a very interesting narrative. I think they're going to be exposed more. But I think they're so embarrassed that they don't know how to manage this, because I think they put a lot of money into this by-election campaign. And I think there are issues around accountability. So now they're trying to turn the narrative. But again, like I said, these are kicks of a dying horse. The state machinery was full throttle, but still they lost. So I think what is interesting, what I want to unpack here is what NUP as opposition did was we achieved a number of things. I think one, we can talk about resilience, we can talk about bravery, we can talk about unity, and we can talk about victory in the face of all these adversities. So I think this was really, these are lessons learned. And going forward, what do we need to do, ladies and gentlemen? I think we've talked about civic education. It is desirable, but it is not achievable, I think, in the short run. We realize we have less than 12 months, a little more than 6 months. So what can we do? I think we need to be pragmatic. So yes, whilst civic education would be desirable and it would be the right thing to do, one, I think in terms of resources, in terms of mobilizing, the time would not allow us to do that. However, the people on the ground are mobilizable, and we've been doing mobilization. And I think we need to find some short-run strategies where we can identify these people, even on the basis, as we are here, how many are we? 23. We identify our people. First, the message must start with your own family, with you yourself, your inner circle. What is your community? What is your network? Beyond that, we look at our neighborhoods, our communities, churches, our social networks, and we try to activate those. We try to engage, and we try to activate those. This is very possible. I think the pathway, just a minute. Yes, I think the way forward, ladies and gentlemen, going by the Kawempe by-election, I think we know that the Electoral Commission it was discredited. It's not credible. It is partisan. It is an appendage of the NRM, and we cannot trust. And I think everything that could go wrong went wrong. So can we trust this institution to manage and deliver on the 2026 elections? We cannot. I think the pathway now is, to reclaim our victory even before we reach 2026 elections. But in order to do this, we must be consistent, and we must redouble our efforts in mobilizing our people, not just in Kampala, but across the country. And this is achievable. This is This is very possible. We have some time. Each one of us can begin, mobilizing, have at least 10 people, 20 people, who in their time can also mobilize 20 people. So I think that is the way forward. And, you know, there are going to be many, many triggers. And I think that is what is going to, that is when we can activate our people to create a mass movement across Uganda. And that is how we're going to, to liberate the country. Otherwise, going by, you know, waiting for 2026, it's going to be a bloodbath. It's going to be a lot worse. So I believe that there's still room for us. There is scope for us to mobilize the people, to engage the people. I mean, the people we have rely on us. So if we guide them, in fact, if they refuse, we can even give them an order. We sanction them if they're not listening. If they're not listening, we sanction them by withholding, you know, the financial assistance that we've been giving them. But maybe that's not even necessary. I know that they can listen to us, and they do listen to us. So let's start engaging. Let's start mobilizing the people so that we can have this movement across Uganda. We've tested this regime. Now we know it is isolated. It is weak. Right now, Museveni is, I think you can even say that the areas where elections were conducted, in the police barracks, in the UPDF areas, they voted. They voted majorly for the opposition. So he does not even have support within the security forces, much as, yes, they're commanded to do the atrocities they've been doing, but they don't have support. And right now we know they are deployed in Sudan, they're deployed in Somalia, DRC. So this man is at his weakest. Once we mobilize and the people rise up, Museveni will go even before the 2026, and we avoid a bloodbath. I yield my comrade. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Joe. Very good submission. Then I'll comment at the end. Mr. Tusingire, can you please unmute?
Yes, please. I would like to greet everyone around here on this platform. I am Tusingwira, as you see. I'm a Munyankole Batenupu by brand. And supported this party up to when it started. Reflecting on what happened in Kawempe, I would just call it as a warm-up of what will happen in 2026. By just a mere look, Uganda had turned into what I could refer as to a family country, but something that we couldn't accept as Ugandans. One of my colleagues submitted that there is a problem of rural areas, yes, but in most of rural areas, you know, in Uganda, this regime of Museveni, though they say that we had advanced in everything and peace, but for me, I see not, because in Uganda, it is a country, whereas comparing to the population of the country, when you go to the rural areas, you find them rarely having smartphones due to some of the problems that are identical, like lack of electricity and those ones. Therefore, even if now, as we are here, we are very few because of some of those reasons that do happen due to that regime advancement. If I could compare to Rwanda, Rwanda is a smaller country, but when you enter there, you may find most of the population have smartphones due to the public policy and government policies. Most of the people do have smartphones, and therefore they can be made aware. I was one day previously showing a video to one of my elders, and he said that these are the things of TikTok, because now for them, they just know that TikTok is just full of comedy, no real information there. So I think also if they get to know how those things are important, then they may come up. Then also, NUPU's deployment, mostly, you know, NUPU is situated mostly in central Uganda. and which is the problem to the other parts of the country. Yes, we as well support NUP and Chagulanye as well, but sometimes the deployment in our areas, most of the coordinators, regional, whatever, those people, they target even the mistake made. You know, this party most people have been complaining about tribalism, whatever, and the people who bring those things are of Museveni regime. I always even tell them that you people, if you are supporting struggle, and you know that the word, because if you know the word, it means you easily do it. I always tell them that we are not tribalic like in this way, explaining to them. But to some cases, you find the deployment of those regional supervisors, whatever, you find even they come and they even target the Muganda to be the district coordinator, mobilizer, whatever, which may not look good to some parts of the country who have entrusted in someone. But even after, due to having that bias, that thing also come up. And there is this issue of vote rigging. It's not common in Central, mostly because that is the base of NUP. But we are crying in our areas here because they know that in these parts of ours, there is little or negligible support. Yeah, mostly they may be supporting the Museveni regime, 50-50, because if I could analyze it, now I'm from Tungamo. If I could analyze in Tungamo, they are at par, 50-50. But because of that 50-50 weighing one another, in these areas where we see that we have the weak support.
Thank you, brothers and sisters, for observing that moment of silence. Thank you so much for your contribution. Once again, congratulations to Comrade Hanson Nalkola, and of course to our NUP team. Thank you. Those that are on ground in the diaspora, talk of diaspora, I salute you, Dr. Daniel. I noticed you've been here. I know most of the time you're listening in. We salute you and thank you. Thank you so much for your leadership. Thank you. Thank you so much, guys. Yes, and thank you so much for the great discussion. We've been discussing the violent elections in Kawempe, and we're addressing this as a matter, a Ugandan matter, and saying, what are we going to do about this brutality? When does it end? And what is the next step? As Ugandans, what are we going to do about this? Thank you so much, Dennis, for your contribution, and everybody else. We would like to wind up, but I noticed some people that have just come in. If you want to take a minute or so, everybody take a minute. Please do come in. Sister Prosi, you're very quiet. Please do come in, take the mic. Then Joseph, maybe you take a few minutes here and there, and then we close. Sister Prosi, are you available? Ellen Prezo.
Yes, thank you so much.
Yes.
Thank you so much, comrades, all for showing up. And yes, we got the victory, but we needed to do more. But like you have, Dr. said, Dr. Mugeni, that yes, the violence in Kampala, it is not going to be the same as in the other parts of the country. And we all know very well that the regime concentrates more outside. I don't know who that gentleman was, said, yeah, now government of Uganda, Museveni, needs to invest more in Uganda. So that means they are very okay outside Uganda. So now we are going outside Uganda, and indeed we shall. So the battle is on, and it's not yet over until it is over, because to me, I'm happy that the journalists were given some dose of their share. But I needed more so that group of the other certain TV station. But he was reporting while seated in the car, and they had to admit. But in most cases, they say it was documentary. We don't know if this time around also it is still documentary. Yes, if you keep quiet, it will come at your door. Because if they had accepted to address the issues as they kept on unfolding, that wouldn't be, they would be like, we would be on the same page now. But it is okay, they are facing it. And the journalist said they actually will beat them up. So we want to be sure it is true. Otherwise, we are all going to face it. The more you keep quiet, oh, those are hooligans. Oh, why were you confronting the officers? You should, obey follow the orders. So were they really attacking the forces? Were they, or they were doing their job? So the same thing to the people who are fighting for change. They're doing the job. To me, we are all going to test it. As long as remain quiet, the doors is for each and every one of us until we work together as a country and we put an end to it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yes, I've been putting the mic out before Comrade Joseph takes the mic. Let's take as many 1-minute submissions or 2-minute submissions. Yes, Sister Tina, I don't know if you're there. Everest, the mic is out. Dinavance, Ellen Prezo, are you able to speak? Brother Ellen, the mic has been passed out to you guys. Yes,
Yes, how are you doing, Doctor?
I'm good, thanks. Good to see you. How are you?
I'm not doing bad either.
Good, good, great.
Sorry, I joined in when you guys are almost coming to the end, but nevertheless, I just want to commend that everyone that shows up every Saturday to to deliberate on the issues concerning our loved country, Uganda. Briefly, in my 1 minute that you've given to me, I'll just comment about the just concluded violent by-elections in Kawempe North, where the people power, actually the people won over the tyrant. If you've been watching the images right from the nomination to the day of voting, how people have been clobbered, innocent people, not because they were caught getting involved in ballot stuffing or vote rigging or involved in any criminality, but they were just exercising their rights, that right that is guaranteed by the Constitution of Uganda. Now, my worry is that much as those kind of heinous acts have been happening in Uganda at every electoral cycle since even before 2021, to me, I think that was a rehearsal for what is going to happen in the forthcoming elections in 2026. But as we know that the nominations of the parliamentarians and those that have interest to contest in the presidency are going to be nominated this year. So this year is an electoral year. We had a lot of casualties and people continued being abducted.
Dr. Zeditas health tip.
On one or the other, I wanted those kind of things to happen because it would help those that were still in doubt of what is happening, more especially the fourth estate, because most of the times when we're reporting about innocent Ugandans being abducted, tortured, maimed, and clobbered by those that are supposed to defend them, they were using some coated tones, the sugar coating of what is happening than calling it what it was. They didn't know that maybe at one time it's going to happen to them. They will be the target. No Ugandan should be clobbered, even those that have committed a crime. The best they could do is to be arrested and arraigned before the competent court to answer to the crimes that they have committed. We're all not safe, but we have a duty to do everything within our power to make sure that we liberate ourselves. Otherwise, if we just leave it like has always been done, leaving it to the politicians or elected officials and those that have been doubting on whether we are in a full-fledged tyrant in Uganda, then they must have witnessed what has happened. Let's not wait for anyone to come and then we become victims. Do everything within your powers, play your role. If it's knocking doors, engaging development partners, or supporting those on the ground, use your mouth to speak to those that you feel have not yet got the message. It's only we, the Ugandans, that will carry that cross to liberate our country, Uganda. And that must be now or as soon as yesterday. I don't want to take a lot of your time, but I want to wish you all the great weekend. And remember, for us to find the solutions of what our country needs, we must use the revolution to get those solutions. Let's become agents of change and not wait until we cannot be saved. May God bless you all.
Bless you. Thank you. Thank you so much, Brother Ellen Prezo. Everest, please do come in for a minute, and then hopefully we'll have Sister Demi, Mimi, and Mr. Kato, Dr. James, all have your 1 minute before we roll back to Joseph and close. Yes, Everest, please do come in.
Thank you very much, Dorcas, and thank you every member who is here today. And what can I say? Thank you for congratulations for winning that hectic election. And sorry to those who got the wrath of the regime. Yeah, we know this is, you paid the price, which it wasn't supposed to be. But when we have beneficiaries of its existence, we know we're not gonna get it on silver platter. We need to do more. Much as that was a win, we need to really work hard to make sure we liberate the whole country. On that liberation of the whole country, it needs, as I've already said, we need to organize better, coordinate better. And we should have started yesterday, but never mind, we can start any day. But we need to really assert our power, our people power. It has to reign supreme. The dictator has no say when our power is organized and well coordinated. It's only that we haven't been able to realize that we have the power which is bigger than the guns the dictator is holding. It's our unity. We devolve ourselves in fear and all sorts of things, which are not helpful. This is the time we come together, unite, overcome the fear, the division, the whatever, and then put our foot on the ground, assert ourselves,
That's why I came.
and get the man out. It's not only the man. There are even lions behind there. It's a cartel we need to bring down to get our country back. But it requires all our efforts. I understand there are challenges, but we can overcome them. Please, members, let us see right from today onwards, we organize, coordinate, and bring down the regime even before we go for that election.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Have a good weekend and think of it and see how we can work out. It's not my duty alone, it's all of us to make it. Thank you very much. Have a good weekend.
Thank you so much, Comrade Everest and your team, the UK team. We thank you so much for the demonstrations. You continue to expose the dictator in the UK and, of course, to the rest of the world, because these demonstrations are streamed online. So we are seeing how you're sending a clear message to the West to stop funding our terror. Yes, thank you so much. Brother Kato, do come in. Comrade James, you'll come in. General Madways, the mic is out to you. Just a minute, guys, because we are closing at 1:15. Yes, Comrade Kato, please do come in. A minute, seconds, just yes, please. Let's roll.
I've worked out, if you want to move forward, stop mourning about everything. We need to learn from our lessons, need to get up and do it. What your guts tell you to do it. And we shouldn't just point fingers at one another. That is all my rant for today. Otherwise, for God and my country.
My sentiments, exactly. Thank you so much for that. Yes, that's why I was saying we need to really appreciate what NUP is doing, but also add to that, what are we doing as the Ugandan? You, the Ugandan in the diaspora, you, the Ugandan on ground, what are you doing about this struggle? And yes, thank you so much for that. Comrades, the mic, take seconds. General Madways, Dr. James, did you lose your mic?
Well, I'm still there, Docas. I think let me end on a smooth note so that I think at least I lower your blood pressure. Kawempe was a lesson, but when people determine, because for me. I like it that they want to contest. They want to go to court because they don't believe it. You know, when you deploy the Electoral Commission on your side, you deploy the army on your side, you deploy Museveni on your side, you deploy Nabanja on your side, you deploy Muhozi, and you lose that election. Then the people who have won that election are smarter than you, and hence they must have cheated you. They have beaten you at your tricks. But this is what I've been telling young people, that there is no trick. There is no trick in Uganda now of today that Museveni can bring. Whether guns, it's really the young people who can beat these guys in the guns. These old people cannot pick guns anymore. So even if it is cheating, even if it is playing with the IT, yes, just take on the mantle, use your numbers, use your IT knowledge. I have suffered in America because of IT. Ever since I arrived here, they told me 3 things. You need driving, you need IT and English. My English is undoubtedly the best English, I think, in the world. Driving, I failed to drive. I can only drive in village roads. IT, oh my goodness. I just can't cope up because I came from writing with a pen and paper. Now, you people who know these things, how can this man beat you? So even if they brought back, it's a lesson you have taught him that as young people, this is your age.
I know,
I think that one is good enough.
Okay. Just finish, Mzon. Okay. Yes, thank you. Thank you so much. Dr. James, you finished with your points?
You didn't hear me. You missed me. I said this is a young.
I did hear you. So saying thank you. If you
Sorry, I just wanted to just throw an idea here.
Okay.
There are beekeeping people in Uganda. The young people should enroll in beekeeping in mass. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, brother, for that. Sister Demi, you will come in shortly. Did I see a hand? Dr. Daniel, did you want to have a minute or so? Please do come in and have your say before we close. Thank you. Demi, you come in shortly. Yes, Dr. Daniel, good to see you. Is my Joseph, can any of the co-hosts help me? I don't know what is happening here.
Yes, greetings. I don't know if you can hear me.
Yes, we can.
Yes, I just wanted to say hello to everyone and thank you for all the work all the comrades are doing for the struggle. Obviously, I've listened to many good ideas and suggestions that members have on what we need to do in Uganda, particularly regarding elections. This has been a needed dry run to see where the gaps are in as far as the electoral system in Uganda is concerned. We have seen a lot of gaps in terms of the Electoral Commission and their ability to hold a free and fair election. Definitely, there's a lot of questions to be answered to the point that fraudulent data could be read out publicly and the Electoral Commission doesn't even know where it's coming from. That's concerning, but this is good to know so that those holes can be plugged or at least the Electoral Commission challenged on some of those issues. We saw some of the safe houses which are used to pre-tick ballots. And that's where it raises the need for citizens to be attentive. And I applaud those citizens who are able to alert the party leadership and other members to come to the rescue of the situation. So this is something which, like Dorcas has mentioned, is going to take beyond NUP. It's going to require every citizen to be involved. Because think about it, Kawempe had about 197 polling stations. Uganda has 34,344 polling stations. 34,000. So the challenge is that how do you protect 34,344 polling stations in a general election? That shows you the magnitude of what we face, especially those who want change in Uganda. It's going to require citizen engagement across the board. To make sure that we can truly have power change through elections. It's definitely from a strategic standpoint. Of course, there are many ideas, suggestions, and discussions behind the scenes, but at least Ugandans have to be aware that it's going to take everyone to make sure we safeguard our rights, we safeguard our democracy, and we safeguard our liberties as Ugandan people, and also the rights of journalists. But I thank everyone, the people of Kawempe, I thank the diaspora for being attentive and keeping their eyes open and continuing to put pressure on the regime. That's what we can do from the diaspora, continuing to put pressure to make sure that the military is contained or refrained from the violence by highlighting the people in the military who are responsible, and of course calling for sanctions. That's something which we can do from the diaspora, continuing to put pressure on the regime to make sure that they follow through with elections, because Museveni likes to come to the diaspora and tell either the World Bank, IMF, and other institutions that we are running a democratic political system in Uganda. That's where we have to expose what's happening on the ground. So from the perspective of the diaspora, let's continue to put pressure on any avenues that we have, whether on the military, whether it's on the judiciary, or on the government, the executive itself. Let's continue doing that. But the takeaway point here that's going to require every Ugandan, and not just people in opposition, because even there are people in NRM who know that what the things we saw in Kawempe are not good for our country. They are not good for our country. So it's incumbent on all of us to make sure we safeguard elections so that people can go and choose their leaders. And we believe that's how we're going to reform our country, Uganda. But the number to think about is that how do we protect 34,000 polling stations? That's really what we're looking at heading into 2026. And I'll be glad to engage in more discussions going forward. But I thank the diaspora members and the team here for being consistent to open these platforms for members to talk about our country. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Daniel. Thank you to your leadership. And of course, congratulations to Mr. Nalkola and of course, the whole of Uganda. Yes, guys, I don't know if my mic is, yes, Sister Demi, please do come in. Thank you so much, Dr. Daniel.
Hi, can you hear me, Dorcas?
Yes, I can.
I think it's very, very important we accept it to be self-critical. We accept the constructive criticism. It's dangerous to dismiss people's ideas because they are well off. We are not bad off. We are well off. We support each other, so we can make comments which can make better for our political party or for Uganda. So we'll have to get used to that. What Dr. Nico said, I missed it, but whichever way he said it, I don't mind for me. Because as you remember here, Dr. James, when I said the civil education, you laughed at me. But let me tell you something. For me, I've got an idea how you do civil education. And very effective, very easy. And I've got an idea how you become organized. How you become organized is very simple. You start from top, then you go for structures, then you go for communication, coordination. questioning, mobilization. There is just simple things that we need to twist and turn. But what we see, my point as end up, because you gave me 1 minute, is what Mimi said. With our civil education, we have to teach ourselves self-defense, and we have to teach our people to reply back to these perpetrators who come and beat people. Like Hightower, they broke his ankle. Who come and beat them recklessly? And also, for me, I've been laughing inside me about this media, crying. Yes, it's a long time. But we must reply to these perpetrators. We must beat them as well. That is accepted. It's not unlawful. For me, I don't care what NRM is saying. You know, they always regard agitating. They are, but if we are organized, they will come against a brick wall. Remember that. But we must also come with measures to beat these people who terrorize us. They come in our village. If you come to my Rusakarwa message, I'm going to dig up the boogie holes so that your vehicle will not pass. We must see. Let us be like these people from Gaza. At least even if they know that
Yes, so much.
stone is not going to bring down those trucks. We must never look on. I'm telling you. Otherwise, with these dictators, we are going to talk about it. We are going to cry and cry and cry. But there is a way, so many ways we can do so many things at a small level, small scale, and they will be effective. Thank you so much.
I just love you to bits, Demi. You know what? I've just told Mr. Dr. Dr. Mugenyi to tell the Busia people to rear lots of bees.
Thank you. Thank you so much, guys. And before we forget, talk of exposing and this fight, cleverly, I think, Sister Demi, you're still here. I'm thinking, let's prepare to tweet the actual results, you know, because we did CSG get up to say those are the fake results you're announcing. I really would like to task people to get a screenshot of what the EC was publishing and then a screenshot of the actual results, and let us make that go viral. So before they are caught, they launch their case or their whatever, we should go before and really expose the actual so that, you know, we put the evidence right out there. Let's fight. Yes, guys, we are closing. Sister Demi, just seconds on Twitter, and then we have Sister Mimi, and over to you, Joseph. Comrade Derek, we actually were about to close. Sister Demi, Twitter on Twitter, 30 seconds. Thank you.
On Twitter. Yeah, we have to do it. But I go back to what Sister Mimi said. We should not give away most of our game. Because if you post these results we have, they're going to come up with something new, and their judges will accept them, like a Judge Singisa. So let us keep our cards on our chest, and we play chess game. They bring us to that court, then we bring our evidence. But however, continue tweeting for me. I go on what I teach people how to use Twitter. I'm doing quite a little bit by bit, but we must go on with the current news. We must not concentrate on Kawempe only. There are so many things which are going around that are contributing to all these failures, that dictatorship, they've got a stronghold. So we must untie them. Twitter is one of the best places to communicate. No foul language, but let us debate on idea and based on evidence. That is what critical.
Thank you. Sister Mimi, do come in. Thank you.
All right. Awe tuli Uganda yaffe ne bannayuganda buli nga weebirowoozo kyekirina okukolebwa okuba nga tutereeza eggwanga lyaffe. Mbagamba kino, teri agenda kutereeza Uganda okujjako ggwe nange. Ate nga obutiitiizi bwaffe okutya kwaffe kwe tweteekamu tekugenda kukyusa nsi yaffe okujja nga twesanguddemu ekigambo kye bayita kutya. Tegedde singa tuneesangulamu ebintu ebyo ne tumanya nti buvunaanyizibwa bwaffe aganya bw'Geno Museveni bijja kuba mu myanya eya
Thank you so much for the space today, but self-defense is no crime, is no violence. So they gotta, and the thing that made the difference in this election was people stood. Most people did not run away. And I was so happy with this one video where somebody said, Temuduka, Temuduka. And they didn't do, these people didn't do anything. So if you run away, that is another way of you being assaulted. Senga abantu bayimirirawo okobwoba okuba omuntu mubagyeeko emigo. Mubakube emabega eyo, you won't kill them if you beat them in the back, behind there. You know, when they are beating somebody, you're like 10 people. Pick up that thing oyomu mukwate naye mukube emabega eyo. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Derek, just seconds, you will have to speak next week. And then we roll over to Joseph. As passing on the mic to Sister Prosi, but we'll have Derek and then roll over to Joseph and close. Yes, Derek.
Okay, just to add on the point of self-defense, from a legal point of view, it's allowed constitutionally and lawfully, but I think what you have to be cautious is not to create circumstances where you could be falsely accused of incitement, which plays into the hands of the regime. But what has been consistent throughout this is violence, and everything else is academic. So what people have to do is, how do you counter violence lawfully? Everything else is academic. You can stand at polling stations, you know, the goons came and kicked away the polling station, they shoot in the air. That has to be the key. How do you counter violence non-violently and still remain focused? That's the issue. And self-defense in this case would be something like, if people come and they're not identified as lawful enforcement officers, and they're abducting people, then you have a right to citizen arrest them and take them to police station and disarm them using reasonable force. That's the point. And once the message gets out, then you know, that's the one way of countering violence. But please do not fall into the trap of creating circumstances where you can be accused of incitement. But I'm sure that's not what you're doing. But don't create that rule. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Guys, there should be a message. Yes. Thank you so much. Over to you, Comrade Joseph, and thank you so much, each and everybody. I am afraid I cannot give everyone a minute because we need to actually have close 15 minutes back. Yes, Comrade Joseph, please do come in, and then we conclude on this Zoom and close in a few minutes. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Thank everyone that has contributed. There have been a lot of speakers, really excellent submissions. Of course, we were focusing on the electoral violence in Kawempe North. And of course, Dr. Nico came up with some, he was disappointed that his application was not used, and some of us contributed towards that. And Mr. Kato said, well, you know, it's not enough. It's not good to criticize that, you know, perhaps we should go on the ground and because things are different at home, which kind of brings up the point Demi just said, that we need to be very open to ideas and criticism, you know, self-criticism as a party or as Ugandans as in general, because nothing like Dr. Nicole is a person who's contributed his own, expertise and resources, and it's not too much to ask people who are exposed, people who have traveled, people who are been all over the world to say, you know what, let's kind of get this up used or disseminated. It's not too difficult to ask. It's not such a big challenge to say that, you know, if this has been in, was this in 2021 and he just updated it, it's, you know, it's nothing new to say that, you know what, let's kind of get this thing done. Let's see how we can monitor the results and actually have them documented. Because when you go to the international courts, to the whatever, to show, because in 2021, we had no DRL form. I mean, basically there was not enough evidence to show you know, we didn't have enough results captured. So it was hard to go to the international community and say, hey, this is the actual evidence. But if you can upload all that and you are given enough, it's not too much to ask. So I think we should, you know, we should not dismiss that out of hand. As to what we in the diaspora are doing, Mr. Kato, for your information, a lot of people in the diaspora are doing a lot, trying to mobilize people. I know, in fact, I'm glad Joe is here because I know some people were doing a lot, you know, things that should even have been, you know, like from the diaspora and trying to coordinate and get people mobilized and all that. So anyway, that is the point there. Joe, thank you so much, Joe, for being here. Joe is doing one of the people that I mentioned. You know, the fact that we are talking about this doesn't mean that we're just talking, that nothing's being done. I know Joe and others are doing a lot, trying to mobilize, trying to get things done. And Joe, I really appreciate your point of saying, you know, we want to reclaim, because remember, the election, the opposition, Ugandans, victory was stolen in 2021. And if we can, you know, as we've seen, the elections, chances are, as Dr. Duko said, the situation is not going to be very different in 2026 from what it was in 2021. Again, in 2021, we swept Uganda. No one in Uganda, despite the violence, despite everything. A lot of people were abducted. And in fact, a lot of the people that are still in prison or that disappeared were because of that. A lot in Uganda, somehow, in Kampala and other areas, a lot of people suffered as a result of protecting the votes, of making sure that the DRL forms were submitted correctly. And this is a repeat of what happened in 2021. And obviously, chances are, given what we saw, situation is going to be potentially worse. But then, this is a point Mr. Triswingili also brought up, and everyone has been saying that, yes, okay, we know that, you know, chances are people in central region will keep the votes, or they're very alert, or they're mobilized that they will do something. But we need a lot more outside, because all of us, many of us here come from all parts of Uganda. But what are we doing to make sure that we, as Ugandans and all over the country, we are getting up people mobilized to protect the vote? That is extremely important. So that is interesting. And then Dr. Koma, of course, also mentioned this point. We have 34,000 polling stations in Uganda. And this is the same polling station as in 2021. Yes, it's a huge challenge, and that's why we need to mobilize as Ugandans to coordinate, make sure that the votes are protected. Now, as to the point of this Docus, we're talking about how we should be talking about as Ugandans, and I agree, because again, that is my focus when we demonstrate is about as Ugandans, we need to rise up, because it doesn't matter for NRM, FDC, or NUP. You know, the regime is suppressing all of us, and we're all suffering from lack of services, dying because of lack of medicine, hospitals, accidents, and all that kind of stuff. But in this particular case, then, on this kind of forum, I mean, it's a bit of a tricky situation, because obviously we are here, most of the people here are NUP supporters, and we are bringing most of NUP leadership on here. So I think the concept of people power, we need to go back to, perhaps, I don't know if you want to, you know, because one time, at one hand, we're saying, well, we should not be talking about NUP, we should talk about Ugandan, but then everything here is NUP. Basically, the leadership is NUP. Everyone here pretty much is a NUP supporter. So it's a tricky thing to say that we should not talk about NUP, but at the same time, kind of just put it to Ugandans as a whole when we are basically NUP on this platform. So it's a bit of a tricky situation. Perhaps that concept of people power should be reincarnated and say, you know what, as people power, as Ugandans, we need to rise up. And this is where I think people like Joe are focusing. And also in my work, in my more activism here, I actually mobilize more as people power, not as NUP, because that's where we need to transcend, especially when you're talking to the international community. They want to know that Ugandans are speaking, as opposed to FDC speaking, NRM is speaking. We need to say, you know what, whatever party you support, whatever you think, we should all unite as Ugandans. Say, you know, we have a dictatorship in Uganda that is doing ABCD, electoral violence. We show the results of Kawempe North and other things that have been happening. Say, we need your help. We need you to stop funding the dictatorship. We need.
All right. Stop funding the dictatorship. Stop funding General Museveni. Stop funding the killing of Ugandans. Stop funding the human rights violations in Uganda. Stop funding the dehumanization of Ugandans. Stop funding the vote rigging. Stop funding the suffrage of Ugandans. Let's keep that one. Let's keep telling them the truth. Tuwabulira amazima tubagambe byaddala nti ensimbi ze muwa General Museveni ze zitulugunya, zitumazeeko eddembe, ze zitutisa, ze ziwambisa abaana baffe, ze zibuzizawo baganda baffe, buli omu n'abula ntamanyikiddwa akumaitire gy'ali naye olw'ensimbi ze mumuwa olwekyo mukomye okumuwa ensimbi ezo.
In their quest to get rid of the dictatorship. So thank you so much, Dorcas. Thanks everyone for participating. It's been a really great session. And thank you so much, Dorcas, for always keeping this up. I've been missing in action for a while because I've had a lot of personal issues with the past few months.
Yeah.
But